Put your phone down. Almost done. Like 5 more minutes.
I look horrible. Like, I don't even look like I want to look in the camera.
Look at the camera.
I don't want to, like, talking over here. I look retarded.
The teacher. Hey guys, it's Jay, and joining me today again is...
Oh my God, I feel retarded. I don't want to do this anymore.
I told you to put the makeup on. It's my sister Elizabeth. That's our teacher.
Hey. I'm not retarded. I'm not slow, I promise. Promise.
In today's video, we are going to just quickly go over the differences between being like a single mom, being a young single mom, like with no baby daddy, and then being a mom when you actually have a person like to help you raise a child. Okay.
Living in the house, because that's different.
Like living in the house, like with you, helping you with the child. So my sister and I were actually single moms for the first 4 years.
5 years? 4 years?
4 or 5 years of our first children being alive. So up until they were 5, we were single moms.
No daddy, no help, no nothing.
No dad, no help, no child.
No weekly visits, nothing.
Like no calls.
Us. Our mom was our baby daddy.
our mom. Our mom and her husband
We're our baby daddy.
Our baby daddy.
Yes.
And that was hard. Like, I forget sometimes because life is much better now, but I forget how hard it was. When we first had the babies, we were in the same room that we grew up in, her and I together. There were 2 twin-size beds, one for her and one for me, and then there was the cribs for the babies. And
we had a pretty big room.
It was the biggest room in the house, but because it had to fit 2 adults and like 2 small children. So yeah, it was hard. I was working at the time, and and my baby was crying, and my mom was not the kind of person to be like, oh mija, you know, you can go to sleep. Let me take care of your baby. No. Yo baby, yo problem. And my baby, for the first 6 months of his life, if he was not asleep, he was crying.
Yes.
Crying.
You were eating, you were feeding him a bottle, he was crying.
You were changing his diaper,
he was crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were picking him up, he was crying. You put him down, he cried for everything. You put a toy in his face, he was crying.
You took it away, he was crying.
He was holding it and crying. All he did was cry.
Cry.
He was about to go to sleep, he cried himself to sleep.
Yes.
This child cried the whole time. It was so sad.
So, aside from me having a hard night's sleep, I had to wake up the next day. I do want to say also too, our brother lived with us. So whenever I got up to go to work, he worked the night shift, so he'd come and he'd kind of just like sleep with the baby, you know, like in like his own little pocket of like towel, would kind of like make sure he was okay and like sleep. And you know, thank God nothing happened, you know, throughout this whole time. I think God had a hand in it too. But you know, kind of just having to depend on other people because nobody else was there, and like, you know, sometimes they were sick, you know, or sometimes like they just weren't feeling it, so we kind of had to like figure out to make things work. What else was different? Maybe when they're bigger, like Father's Day.
I'm trying to think. It just really was different. Like we just depended on each other.
We did depend on each other.
We had to learn on it by ourselves. I mean, to be honest, I was like 16, 17. I would drive around with Priscilla in the front seat when she was like 6 months old. And I thought it was okay. One time I left her in the car to go do something in the store. And I didn't realize that was illegal. I didn't. Now I would never, ever do that. I mean, I was 16 again at the time, so I mean, you just had to, you know, just learn and grow with our children, and for me especially, I feel like me and my daughter Priscilla, we've grown up together actually, like, cause she's already gonna be 10, and she's she's just like a little adult walking around, and I'm just barely like learning. I mean, I'm
trying to get your shit together.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it together, you know, with her, and so that's been hard.
Yeah.
Like, I've had to grow up with her. People would think we were sisters and not I was her mother, so.
Right.
So, yeah.
I do want to say a positive thing about being just you is I was the hug giver, I was a treat giver, I was a spanking giver, I was a talk giver, I was everything. Like, I determined how I was going to feed into my son's life. And like, now that my husband's in the picture, and he's been in the picture since my son was 4, you know, we kind of have to talk about it, or you know, like, he has to like agree, or he has to just be like okay with if I'm spanking him, why I'm spanking him. You know, like, it's not just me. I just can't do it. Or like, if I let him go spend the night, it's not just, yeah, go ahead. I have to be like, well, you need to go ask your dad if that's okay too. You know, so it's not just by myself.
I think it was easier that way, though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot easier for me to just decide on my own what I was gonna do with Priscilla, how I was gonna do it. The lessons I wanted to teach her, the way I wanted to teach her. I mean, that was all on me by myself. I didn't have to ask nobody. The father of the other 2 children, this child and my youngest, Christopher, who's 2, he's been in Priscilla's life since she was 4. And so it's different. It's very different, but she needs that. She needs her father to be there. And don't get me wrong, she knows who her biological father is. She knows that he exists. He just has chosen not to be in the picture. And she knows that, and she understands. And it makes her appreciate her dad, Chris, more. But I'm thankful that he is there, even though it's a little more difficult having to ask for his opinion or his okay on things. But I think it's better for her, for all the kids, actually, for all 3 of my kids. And it is different. With Priscilla, I just basically kind of let her do whatever she wanted. Again, I was a young mom. With my son Christopher, who's 2, it's not that way. It's not just like whatever. But it's like I mean, like, we're both doing it together. So I think that's harder to have to ask, you know, to see what he wants to do with Christopher, or see how he feels about these things about Christopher, and all the way down to like little haircuts to the daycare that we decided for him to go to. Like, I have to not ask him, but, you know, just to make sure it's good, you know, that he likes it, you know, just, again, all the way from daycare to haircuts. I mean, I have to, you know, we talk about these things together.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. That's a very good point. I know I said, like, it's much better, you know, that I had all the control, but like, ultimately at the end of the day, seeing both sides, seeing what it is to raise a child without a father, and seeing what it is to see a child that's growing up with a father, it's always, like, it's much better.
It's a beautiful thing.
This way. Like, it's supposed to be that way, because I'm the lover, I'm the caregiver. Like as mothers, like, we tend to do that. We're like more soft. I made myself hard because I knew that there was nobody else there. But like, now that there's a male figure, like, I don't have to work as hard, because I know that he's the one that's, like, you know, kind of checking him, you know, trying to toughen him up. And sometimes as mothers, it kind of sucks. Like, it kind of like we don't want to see it. But it's true. Like, you kind of have to let them kind of callous a little bit, because life's not, like, the world isn't like the nicest place. It's not the nicest place. But I think having a dad in their lives helps to make the family whole.
You'll see the difference, Janet, when you have your baby with Cisco and y'all being together in your own home, and you know, seeing the baby grow up with both parents. It's a beautiful thing. It's something that I would never want to tear my family apart, because it's beautiful. The way Christopher loves me and his dad, like, seeing him grow as an itty bitty baby to where he's at now. It's beautiful, because he loves us both. Like, he loves us both so much. And I feel guilty because I never gave that to Priscilla. Like, she has that now, but she didn't have that as a baby. and and it's gonna hurt because you'll see it, like you'll see it. It hurts, but we are where we are now with the kids, and
Yeah.
thankful for the men that have stepped up into their lives for sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think I'm done.
I think I'm done too.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us again. Let me know if you want to see my sister.
I don't make no sense.
She's due at the end of the year, like after Christmas, before the new year. That's when she's due. So, but after that though, we're gonna get back on it. Right, Teacher?
Snapback video.
Snapback
You're gonna see
video.
me in that red dress again.
Oh shit. Okay, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And can you look at the camera? And thank you. Bye.
Can we redo those videos like tomorrow?
No,
I promise
Gigi.
I'll do my makeup.
I'm not